All right, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Got, oops, my navigation rolling. I think I know what I'm doing, and going out on an errand run. And what is on the docket for this expedition is a planer and wood. Well, I'm definitely getting a planer, getting it off Craigslist. I don't know if I'm getting wood. I'm going to stop by a mill-like place that does just rough sawn lumber, and we'll see what they've got. And if what they have is appropriate for what I need, then maybe we can make a deal. That's how shopping works, right? Anyway, I had a good little thinking session earlier today, you know, working on my life theme stuff, and I had to crunch the focus that I want to have in my life, how to conceptualize it, how to integrate all the little bits and pieces. And well, I figured I would just riff a little more while I drive on this errand run, and just talk about it more. Sorry, I keep looking at my mic because the microphone is so heavy that when I clip it to my shirt, pretty soon it's just like drooping down, like it's just like pulled the neck of my shirt down and it's flopped over and it's upside down, and so I don't know, I'm concerned about it. So, oh, and I also need to get cash before I do all of that. So it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be cash, planer, wood, maybe. Okay, so thinking about my life and my life's purpose and all the stuff going on in my head. And it really just came down to like, I wanna be an A+ dad, get it right, and I don't wanna fuck it up too much. And what that means to me, and this is all gonna be very personal and specific to me. This isn't intended to be a how-to, and I'm not trying to say this is the way that one should do it. This is simply my process for developing my own value system for what I want out of life. And in sharing it, I'm hoping that that will be valuable to other people, if for no other reason than as an inspiration to go through the process themselves, to do it to their own standards, to actually give themselves the time to be able to crunch the numbers and figure out what's important to them and how they want to achieve whatever they want in regards to life, parenting, fatherhood, stuff like that. So, I want to be a good dad, and to me, that touches everything. It's hard for me to isolate that from the rest of life, which is both good and bad. It's really cool. I like the fact that the way I conceptualize fatherhood, parenthood, and all of that, husbandhood, it really does touch everything. It really is important, and I like that. So, let's see. First and foremost, if one is, should I be going into that store to use the ATM? I am pretty sure the answer is yes, which means I have to turn and I have to go into Albertsons. Oh wait, no, fuck, I already tried that before and it didn't work. Okay, something about that ATM I'm just now remembering. It didn't take my card, and I just, wasted a bunch of time trying to get it to work. It didn't work, and I still had to go to my bank anyway. So we're saying, fuck that, we're going to my bank directly, and we are collecting $200 plus $175 more, and then we're gonna go get that planer. Now, where was I? Being a dad. Okay. Emotions. Yes, I was going to talk about emotions. Because if you nail emotions, God, I think the other things kind of just like fall into place. Like I think that might be the number one spot. And let me see if I can explain why. First of all, if you were able, if it were possible to nail the other aspects of life, let's say I was somehow able to be really physically healthy, have a really rewarding career, make all the money, all that stuff. If I were to do all of those things really well, but I was unhappy, if I was emotionally a wreck, well, then what's the fucking point? None of it matters. You failed by definition. It's not a good outcome if your emotions aren't there with you. And if we were to reverse that, if we were to say, okay, your career isn't good, your physical health sucks, all of those other things were kind of trash, but you were emotionally like A plus, you loved life and you were feeling great, and you were like, you emotionally had, the perfect score. Well, then I think that's still a win. Like, right? If you're feeling good, then you feel good, and that's kind of the end of the story. So I don't know if that's really the best way to explain that, but here's where, okay, so that's one aspect of why I think emotions are kind of key or king. The other one is that I think that the other metrics by which you might measure the success of your life, it's a weird way of putting it, but you get the idea. The other metrics, I think that having a really solid emotional foundation, like if you're just scoring top notch on emotional intelligence, you're really in touch with your emotions, you can express them freely and effectively, you're able to listen and accept people for who they are, and you love people and you love yourself, and all of those things are like really popping, then I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that the rest of your life will go exceedingly well, or at least as well as it could go. Because I think somebody who has their emotions in check and really being well served and all that business, you can tell I don't really have the language tied down yet, or nailed down. You can tie it down, it'd be weird. But if emotions are A plus, I think that means that you will be, say, thriving in your relationships. I think you will have a thriving, vibrant work life where you're pursuing things that are really important to you and you're really pouring yourself into them. I think that you would be you'd be modeling really good emotional fitness for your children, and that would be paying huge dividends. Basically, it's just like getting the emotions right means that you are capable, you've got the tools to really tackle all the other areas of life. Which is, I might not have said that a couple of years ago. This is a relatively new direction for me because I'm becoming more and more aware of how my emotions and how I relate to them and integrate them and express them and all of that. The topic of emotions for me, I can see now more clearly how it's impacting my life. I can see how my historical inability to feel and express anger has really negatively impacted my life, including things like just my physical health. And that may seem odd, but we'll dig into that later. My ability to grieve, I've really made a lot of progress on that. And that that opens you up to so much. That opens you up to, well, it opens me up to joy. You know, being able to feel sadness to the extreme has opened me up to feeling more happy. And that's a cool thing. And it's similar with anger, where in specifically, intentionally feeling and expressing anger, I feel happier as a result. And that's one I wish I had learned a while ago, or at least I wish I hadn't learned whatever the inverse of that is. I wish I'd never learned this false idea that holding in and denying myself the feelings of anger, I wish I hadn't learned that was a good way of doing it, because I don't think that's true. I think that holding it in has made my experience of life less. It has made it worse, and I think it's made me a less happy, less present adult. Does that make sense? I think so. I don't have an overall outline here, obviously, that I'm following. I just wanted to riff on emotions. So I'm trying to craft myself into a complete person. I don't know how to say it, how to say the things that I'm feeling. Basically, I believe that I and everyone else exists somewhere on a spectrum, describing how well we experienced childhood psychological development. You know, how completely did we achieve our growth? Like, did we get all the things that we needed, or did we create a whole lot of kind of weird workarounds for the areas where we were led astray? And let me see if I can explain that one a little bit. So, for example, I think a lot of us, I especially, have a hard time accepting and loving myself. Like that's not exactly my default way of doing things. And I don't think that is correct. I don't think that's best. I think that a child that is raised in an ancestrally appropriate and consistent manner, as in a child that was raised by emotionally secure and mature adults in a loving, supportive environment and getting all the things that children need, I think those children grow up with this intrinsic, basic, foundational premise that they are worthy and they're lovable, and so they love themselves and expect others to love them too. And that is a good way of going through life, I think. And that's not necessarily my default. Now, I'm not saying I hate myself. I'm not saying that I'm on the extreme other end of that spectrum. I'm just saying I'm somewhere on that spectrum. But I think the more that I can exist as a emotionally complete and secure and confident and all those things, the more I can exist in that realm, the better it is for my children. The better that they will be able to model me. They'll be able to see what it's like. Oh yeah, this guy's complete. I'll just I'll be like him. That's part of it. But also it means that I then, if I'm feeling really good about myself, then I won't be putting things on them. Does that phrase mean anything to you? Like, I won't be banking on my children to help validate me, because I see that. I think that's common. I think it's absolutely common where parents who are not pleased with their own lives, they put it on their children to then somehow make up for it. Like, I want you to succeed where I failed, and then that will help me feel like a success. And then that leads to all sorts of weird expectations and weird situations psychologically for the child, where the child will then have this built-in idea that they have to be something for their parents in order to be accepted and loved. And I want to avoid that. I want my children to believe that they are acceptable and lovable by default no matter what. And I think that's a better way of going through life, rather than thinking, I need to do these things, I need to be a certain way, I need to achieve certain things in order to be a lovable human. That's a whole can of worms. And okay, you know, kind of slightly switching gears, I want to continue to have an amazing relationship with my kids. I mean, I only have one kid right now, but I have another one on the way. And right now, the relationship is still amazing. I love it. It's great. I never want it to end. And so I'm very motivated to learn what I need to learn to be able to carry that and develop that relationship on for the rest of our natural lives. That's what I want. I want good relationship. Okay, now, hang on a second. I need some cash. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Got to have the money. All right, now, I would like your solemn promise. You will not look at my PIN code, okay? Will you please commit to me that you will avert your eyes when I enter my PIN code? I would appreciate that, thank you. All right, now don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look. You didn't look, did you? Okay, let's do money. Money. Give me the money, 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 money. Other amount. I need more money. Let's do 400 monies. Confirm. Do you earn a seat? No. The planer is 375. Which, you know, I don't know that much about planers. So I hope it's not a horrible deal. Give me the money. Okay. Money, money, money. Are we good? We're good, thank you. So, I probably didn't need to keep you around for that whole transaction, but you know what? Sometimes I get lonely and I need some attention. And it, you know, honestly, it feels kind of good to like drive around and have somebody to talk to, even if that somebody is a camera. Excuse me. Okay, next stop, planer. Oh, by the way, on the off chance you don't know what a planer is, it's just a thing that you feed a board into, and it just kind of smooths out the top and the bottom for you. So it can take a piece of lumber that was just cut by a big, you know, lumber saw of some sort. It would be called rough sawn lumber. So it's all kind of rough and got saw marks on it and stuff like that. And then it'll turn it into a nice smooth board. I'll probably still need to sand it a little bit, but it'll be much better. And I'm hoping that this actually gets, this will save me money. I know that kind of sucks to go and buy a $400 thing, but when you price out getting boards for a project, you see that getting some decent, smooth, ready-to-use boards is really expensive, and I need a lot of them. And so I'm expecting to be able to buy the planer, buy the rough sawn lumber, plane it, and then do my project. And then if I want to, I can sell the planer again and hopefully come out ahead versus, going to Home Depot and buying the boards ready to go. And I'll, learn things like how to use a planer. I think they're pretty straightforward. Okay, well, let's see. Do I want to talk about emotions more? Probably. Okay, let's just talk about the event that I just went to again. I've mentioned this event before, but I just went for my second time. I went to a men's retreat that is called Tending Male Fire. I got stuck by a light. It's called Tending Male Fire, and it's excellent. So I went back in May, and then I just went back, this is October, for round 2, and I went back as part of the staff, so I got to help out as opposed to just being a participant. Nice car. So that was a ton of fun, and at this men's retreat, this is out in the wilderness. It's very private. It's very private from people outside of the event. There's almost 50 people at the actual event, including staff. And this event is primarily about feeling, expressing, and healing, and all that stuff related to grief. Like that's kind of the main event here is grief. And right off the bat, you might be like, that's not really how I would choose to spend my precious free time. And I get you. That may not sound like your cup of tea, but just hear me out for a second. Now, this was so great. Just fucking fantastic. It's a whole weekend, like 3-day event that was built around getting men, and men exclusively, to connect with each other, to support each other, to really be there for one another, and partake in a grief ceremony that goes over 2 days. It's a 2-day grief ceremony where we all collectively do this emotional work that is difficult, that is, you might be excruciating depending on, the person. You go to these scary emotional places, but you do so as a team, as a group. You do so with support and love from everyone around you. And this is something that you just can't get in this culture, in any other kind of normal life context. And the difference, the before and after difference, is really, it is not an exaggeration to say it's night and day. The people come in and they feel like shit, they look like shit, they're really suffering. And when they leave, they're beaming, they're happy, they feel connected, they feel brotherhood, they feel good. And whatever happens in the middle there is, I almost want to say it's like irrelevant. It's sort of like, who cares what you have to do if the end result is that you go from feeling like shit to going to feeling fantastic? Then whatever happened in the middle there is probably a pretty good thing. And in this case, what happened in the middle was a lot of exercises around connection, around authenticity and honesty, and a lot of acceptance about, hey, what does it take to feel and express your vulnerable emotions like grief? And the thing that you get in exchange for opening up your heart, because that's what you have to do. If you want to grieve, you have to admit that some tender part of your vulnerable heart is gone now, and that hurts, and you have to express that is a difficult process. But when you do it, when you express it, and when you do so with the love and support of people around you, like really like strong support, No judgment, only understanding and love. When you do that, what's on the other end is an amazing relief, and you make room for positive emotions. You express your sadness, and that lets you feel happiness. And it's just so cool. Like, it's something that I can try and describe it, and I'm sure that I could describe it in better ways than I am doing right now. But it still just comes down to the fact that it's one of those things that you have to feel it to understand it. There's no other way. It's sort of like having kids, and I know this is kind of a cliche, but you just can't understand what having kids is like until you have kids. That's the thing. So it's like that. Anyway, partaking in that event and being involved in it on the back end and everything, I got to see a lot, and I got to learn a lot about what men are struggling with, about how their childhoods shaped their whole lives, how their relationships with their parents, especially their fathers, shaped their whole lives. And oh man, that inspires me. And there's just, it was so inspiring and beautiful and motivating and all of these things to be able to witness and partake in these emotional transformations in men. Because these are people that they've been feeling pain, maybe from maybe from some childhood abuse or neglect or whatever. They've been feeling this pain their whole lives. And they've never known, I'm kind of making up a person here in my head, not everyone has the same story, but so many of these people just didn't have a clue that they could feel and express these emotions safely with other men who would support and love and accept them no matter what. They didn't know that was possible. And so then when they get to that point, when they feel safe enough to be able to let their emotions out, which, spoiler alert, is a lot of full body sobbing, and screaming and just everything. They completely lose it in a good way. When they're able to do that, they then, for the first time maybe in their life, they feel an absolute profound sense of relief and a lightness. Like the weight is off of them, and they get to experience some ease in their life again, instead of having this oppressive, negative, pent up ball of shit in their heart that they've been carrying around for so long. Anyway, me getting to experience all of that really just, it is driving home the importance of doing the emotional work on yourself, on taking responsibility for your own emotional health and doing the things necessary to work on yourself. That is so important, so that I do not pass along my emotional baggage to my children, so that they don't pass that baggage on to their children, and so that they don't, and on and on and on. You get the idea. You break the chain, and you get to have a bit of a clean slate. Now, that doesn't mean my children will be perfect. I will fuck up in ways that I am not aware that I'm fucking up. That will happen. And I'm going to have to forgive myself for that. But right now, I'm going through a kind of a personal renaissance or revolution or whatever of this awareness of these issues and going, hey, I can do something about this. I can work on myself emotionally in such a way that makes me a better parent. Now I got to look for the address. 683. 683. Where's your address sign? He just waved at me. I don't know. This is it. But we're going to take a gamble because he waved at me. And I'm pretty sure that's how that works. And he... Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. You know what? I'm going to hang up here. Like this is a phone call. But I'm going to end it here because I have to do this Craigslist deal. Don't crash into anything. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for listening to me ramble. And you know what? We'll talk more later. Okay. Bye. Okay. That went well. I not only did I buy a planer, I think you might be able to see it in the back here, but I also got a table saw. So that's cool. I wasn't planning on it, but you know what? When opportunity is there, you gotta jump on it. All right. Oh, I should probably know where I'm going. Hold on. I need to put in the, shit, I don't know where it is. Lab. Oh, come on. Is that it? No, it's not it. Shit. I don't remember. Oh, there we go. Start. Okay. We're good. All right, now we're going to the mill. I'm pretty sure I'm going to break this up into multiple videos. Yeesh. Otherwise, this is a lot of talking, and that gets boring. But what shall we talk about on our way? I only have 10 minutes, so only 10 minutes. What can we talk about in 10 minutes? I'm going to talk a little bit about taking responsibility and ownership over me, okay? And how that balances with something that I want to do, which is asking for help. I want to be able to ask for help when it's appropriate. So these two things, it's sort of like I need to be able to take care of my own shit. That's important to me. But I also know that that's not something that one can do in isolation. That no matter what, you got to have help. So those might seem kind of contradictory, but I don't think they are. And the way I view it is that I'm just taking responsibility for the topic as a whole, which is taking care of myself. Growing up, doing the work, not being a man-child for the rest of my life and all that. I'm taking responsibility for that. And part of that is being responsible for getting the help that I need. It doesn't mean that I have to do it all myself. It doesn't mean that I just handle it, Sorry, my brain kind of goes offline when I have to do stuff. Fuck! Driving-wise. I'm sorry, people. I'm kind of blocking both lanes right now. So there's an aspect of modern masculinity, and it's not a great one, that says that men should be self-sufficient, that we should be able to, take care of our own shit. And if you're asking for help, that's because you're somehow, weak, right? And I'm trying to kick that. I'd prefer to live without that inclination. And so I want to be able to ask for help because I know from my own experience now that I am better off when I have help. I do better. I live a better life. I'm happier. I get more done. The quality is higher. And so I want to be okay asking for help. That includes asking for help with myself. Hey, do I need therapy? Do I need a coach? Do I need more help from a friend? Do I need, well, whatever. And I want to take advantage of the help that is there, because if I were to reverse the situation, if I had a friend or a relative that, could benefit from my help, I would hope that they would ask me. That would be really cool. That would be an honor, and I would enjoy getting to help someone. They just got to ask. And so I have to ask when I need help. So I'm going to do that. But I'm also, again, taking responsibility. I'm the one that has to ask. I can't expect other people to do the things for me that I need done. If that is my baseline, then that's going to breed things like, what's the word? Oh, come on, brain, where'd you go? Resentment. There we go. I did a whole video about that word. Anyway, if I'm expecting or wanting people to help me, they need to know that. I can't just feel it inside and then expect them to intuit it. That's not cool. So, taking responsibility, which includes the responsibility to ask for help. And that ownership, the ownership that goes along with the responsibility, that is really key, because I need to feel, I need to know in my bones that this is my life and that I'm living it according to my own values. Not just kind of blindly following somebody else's values or some culture's values, but actually I need to be aware and consenting. I need to have informed consent to my own life. Because then the motivation is there by default. I don't have to try and get other people to get me to do the right things, because I will know what I'm doing and why. That's important to me. And those specifics of what one is doing and why, those are highly personal, and that's a good thing. And I know I said this, just previously, but me exploring this topic and making public my own discoveries and thoughts and revelations or whatever, my ramblings, does not mean that that is the way it should be done. Because invariably, I will be talking about things that will not turn out to be perfect, that it's impossible to be perfect. And so I may think that I've got a really great idea, and I may present it as a great idea, and then 3 years from now, I'll look back on it and be like, wow, that was really wrong. Like, that was not what I thought it was. And that's not cool, but that's just the way it goes. That's reality. And so I want to keep in the forefront of my mind that I will be wrong, and that we're all just trying to do the best we can, and anything that I present is really just it's the best that I've got at the time that I'm presenting it, but it won't be perfect. And the best thing that I could hope for is that my creative work here on this channel, the best that I could hope for is that inspires a sense of ownership over one's life, and that inspires curiosity and a playful exploration of what life is for the viewer, what they want to get out of it, and what they're going to use as models and who will inspire them, all that. That's all for them. And I'm just here to help show that it's worth exploring, that there's benefit to digging in and finding out what is really meaningful to you, and what potential avenues for self-development are good. You know, it's helpful to have somebody, hey, do some experimentation on your behalf, and I can do that. I can try some of these things out, and I can travel some of these roads and then give you a little trip report, and then you can go, hey, I think I'd like to try that out. I'd like to see if that fits for me. And that's really what is, I would consider that a success. If anybody watched it and be like, hey, I'd like to try going to a grief ceremony and just, hey, let's just see. Maybe it's really cool. And worst case scenario, I don't like it and I don't do it again. You know, big deal. Or maybe it's, hey, I'd really like to try extending a little more autonomy to my children. Let's see what happens. Let's see how they respond to that. Let's see if I'm able to give them more freedom, and how that affects our relationship and their development and all that good stuff. Oh, I just hit the brakes a little harder than I should have maybe, and my new tools just kind of slid forward, which I should have pushed them forward to begin with, but I don't know. I was thinking about other stuff. I was going to do it and then I forgot. And then as soon as I hit the brakes, I remembered. Okay, I am just about to arrive at the mill. I don't even know if you can I think you can walk into this place, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll take the camera in and show you some of the goodies. I don't know where I'm going. 33,906. That's it. Okay. I see it. Do. All right. Cool. You want to see? I see wood. That's cool. I don't know if that guy runs this place or if he's just another customer. We'll see. All right, apparently the guy is out at lunch, but he's gonna be back soon. In the meantime, we can check out what they've got. Woo. So, hold that thought. Okay. So, I pulled into this place, and there's another guy waiting here. He's another customer at this mill, and we got to chatting, and he works with like at-risk youth at this like a nonprofit preschool kind of thing, and he's basically dealing with these things that I was just talking about. He deals with that all day, every day. That is his thing. And he was telling me that one of the things that he's always trying to do is trying to get parents to understand and appreciate their kids' needs to feel and express emotions. And so I asked him, I was like, hey, can I like talk to you for a little bit on camera? He said yes, but then he got a call, so we'll wait for a second, then we'll chat with him. I'll introduce the scene here. Okay, so your name is what?
I'm Terrence Killian.
Terrence, nice to meet you. I'm Dylan.
Nice to meet you, Dylan.
And Terrence works with at-risk youth at
the Relief Nursery.
The Relief Nursery. And so it's like a preschool.
It's basically a preschool with lots of wraparound other services for families.
Gotcha. And because I was just talking about emotions on my little car talk ride, and you deal with emotions and kids all the time,
Yep.
and you mentioned that you will frequently be working with parents to get them to understand emotions with their kids. And
Yep.
what do you try and communicate to those parents about their kids' emotions?
I mean, the basics are that every emotion is okay to feel. Like, that's the most important thing.
Even negative emotions like anger?
I mean, and I would reframe it for parents that no emotion's negative. Behaviors can be negative, but
Gotcha.
the feeling itself is not negative.
And does the feeling and expressing of an emotion serve a purpose physiologically?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, our brains and bodies can't function if we don't express our emotions and we don't learn to do that in a healthy way.
Gotcha. And one last question. What happens to a kid who learns that it's not okay to express those emotions?
They grow up to repress those feelings, and they grow up to pass that on to their own children, and they become less happy, less fulfilled human beings.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to do this again sometime.
All right.
Cool. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Okay. Sorry, I know the audio isn't great with that. It was just a super quick one with Terrence, but I'll get in contact with this guy. That was awesome. I loved what he had to say there, and he obviously like gets it. Yeah, it's so cool. So we'll set up a time. Maybe we can do it a full-on interview sometime. Oh, that's so cool, because I just spent like, half an hour talking about all this shit, and then lo and behold, here's a guy at the mill who does this stuff professionally. Like, that is his life. So that's cool. I feel like that's the universe telling me things, and I like that. I like it when the universe talks to me. It feels good. I feel seen. Thank you. Okay, I think we have a plan, and that plan is to get this absolutely beautiful redwood log milled up for my shelves. And what's crazy is I can come to a place like this, literally a mom and pop mill, and I can pick out an entire log. This one's like 13 feet long. It's massive. And I'm gonna get it milled to my specifications, and it's gonna be done in like 2 hours or something. I'll come back and get it, and it's gonna end up costing me less than trying to buy ready-made boards at Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. That's just wild. But really cool. Look, there's my log. It's the one on the bottom there. I'm pointing right there. So, when we come back, we'll see the boards, and that's going to be so exciting, because then you get to see what's inside the log, see what the grain looks like and everything. See you, Dan. Just ridiculously nice guy. All right. So, and then the actual hard part starts, which is I have to figure out what to do with them, how I'm going to construct this wall of shelves and get them to be structurally sound and able to not only hold all the shit that I'm going to pile on them, but also to hold like kids climbing on them and stuff like that. So, oh, whoa, whoa. But I guess that's kind of the fun part, you know, the problem solving part. And that's so cool that I met Terrence, the other guy there, and how we got to talking about emotions and kids. And that's just so cool. I swear I know that guy from somewhere, and I have not yet figured out where. And that's going to bug me. But I'm 95% sure I know him from somewhere. Anyway, emotions are cool stuff. And there's a reason why I choose to believe, there is a reason that immediately after recording all of this video about talking about emotions and childhood psychological development and all that stuff, that then I meet somebody who literally working with children and all of the emotional problems that they're going through because of how their parents are. Anyway, it's good shit. And I'm looking forward to getting a hold of him and doing a long form talk, some sort of interview or something. All right. You know what I would like? I would like to put on my glasses so I can see. I've been driving by feel so far. Okay. Dumb dad joke. Okay. Well, this will be interesting. So I've got a couple of storylines going here. I'm doing all my emotional work, talking about all that stuff. And at the same time, I'm working on building shelves, right? That's kind of fun. You gotta, I used to, and I still do, think that somehow I'm gonna arrive at some point in life where everything is kind of neat and has its own place. Like, oh, this is my work time, and this is when I'm gonna sit down and focus, and everything is gonna be delightful, and I won't be interrupted by other things. When in reality, it's sort of like I'm doing everything all of the time. And so I think, to a certain extent here, I'm gonna have to allow my video production to mirror my reality, which is gonna be a bit mixed. And, well, that's just the way life is. I figure out my own emotional shit while I build shelves for the house. All right, and here we have the fruits of my labor. I meant to buy this one. That was part of the plan. It's a planer. And then that one was kind of an impulse buy. So, that's how it works sometimes. Just got some mail. I just got mail. Right here. Let's do a quick unboxing. See if I can hold this. How do I hold this? Ugh. Okay, that's not gonna work. Do. What is it? Yeah. Oh yeah. It's actually pretty not exciting, but it's a little cage for the camera that I'm recording this on. Well, I'm not going to bore you with putting that on camera. But anyway, it looks like that. It'll be on here the next time I make a video, and you won't know the difference. Neither will I. Okay, bye-bye. I wonder if that's it. That might be it.
It's yourself?
Yeah, I think that's ours. I'm excited. This is cool. Oh, hello, puppy dog. Hi. Hi there. This is coastal redwood. This is one of the largest trees in the whole world. Not this one, of course. And this was planted in a backyard. Folks oftentimes will go visit the redwoods and they'll come home with a little sapling. Yeah, there's two different varieties that are native here, and that's the Sequoia gigantea. This is what we want?
Yeah,
over here.
Her new friend.
Over here? Over here. Down here? Over there. Okay. Yeah. Oh my.
But she doesn't like to share either. That's the funny thing.
I mean, I'll chase you for it. I'll chase you for it. Come on. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Please.
You'll never get it from me.
No.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to share very well. She wants you to want it.
She play with the toys and all that?
Yeah, she has two. Sometimes she chomps on your fingers.
I'm ready.
Sometimes she, especially if you're a little tiny kid, she usually gets. But yeah, she has two stuffies. She's got a,
Nice coat and
oh yeah, she's on a very strict diet. Food or like you can see a lot of people feed their dogs scratch and potato and stuff. But we ended up looking at the Coyote and the LS. We had a 40 horse LS tractor. This one was 2,000 pounds. So that was like, we could do this job without a smaller tractor. But this is double the capacity, double the horsepower. And it has a cab.
yeah, Ravi does and when he goes back, he is like the sound that makes, because he loves tractor a lot.
Oh yeah, kids love